What's going on, XRP Army? Welcome back to the channel. I'm so glad you're here with me today. No matter where you are in this incredible world of ours, I hope you're having an absolutely amazing day. Today, we're diving deep into some fascinating XRP developments that you absolutely need to know about. And trust me, this information could be a complete game changer for your portfolio. Let me start with something that caught my attention from crypto basic analyst Block Bull. He's making a bold claim that the Franklin Templeton XRP ETF could literally save XRP from crashing all the way down to 66 cents. Now, that's a pretty specific number, right? Here's what I'm seeing across the crypto landscape, and this is important. There are tons of narratives floating around about Bitcoin and the broader crypto market. A lot of smart people are saying there's a real possibility that Bitcoin pumps one more time before we see the real crash begin. We're talking about some seriously scary numbers. But people are citing Bitcoin potentially dropping below $50K, maybe even $70K. And here's the thing, if Bitcoin takes that kind of hit, it's probably going to drag XRP down with it. We could be looking at XRP dropping to just below $1.70. But here's where it gets interesting. So the big question is, how exactly is the Franklin Templeton XRP ETF going to save XRP from this potential crash? Look, let's be real about what we've seen with ETF launches. Remember what happened with all the other ETFs when they went live? It's almost like clockwork. An ETF gets announced, everyone gets excited, and then bam, the price immediately goes in the opposite direction. Here's the truth that nobody wants to talk about. We are not going to see any significant price appreciation from these ETFs until we see a massive amount of supply disappear from the market. That's what it all comes down to, folks. Think about it this way. If the over-the-counter desks run completely out of XRP, the price is going to change incredibly fast. We're talking about supply and demand economics at its most basic level. Now, here's something that'll get your attention. There are predictions that XRP could hit $47 if we see $10 billion in ETF inflows that spark a real liquidity crunch. And honestly, $47 is actually a pretty conservative price target. When you look at what some analysts are saying, I'm seeing other people throwing around numbers like $589, $800, even $1,300 plus in the short term. Now, whether you believe those numbers or not, it all comes back to the same fundamental principle, supply and demand. The reality is, we won't truly know until the XRP supply starts disappearing. Right now, everybody's just guessing about how ETF inflows are going to affect the price. But once we enter true price discovery mode and we can see those ETF inflows in real time, that's when we'll get a much clearer picture of just how high this thing can go. But here's one thing I'm absolutely certain about. We are going to see a breakout on XRP. Bill Morgan made a really good point recently. He asked, how can it be sell the news when there was no buy the rumor? He's absolutely right. XRP was grinding down in September and October, well before the XRP ETF launched last week. Zach Rector is calling this a 20% sell the news pullback for XRP, but I don't think that's what we're actually seeing here. What I believe happened was Bitcoin crashed out and took the entire market down with it. The ETFs haven't had their real effect on XRP yet because there's still way too much supply available. But here's the exciting part. The supply can get absorbed incredibly quickly. I talked about this in my previous video, but until that supply crunch happens, we're probably going to keep following Bitcoin's price action. Now, here's where things get really interesting. If money starts flowing out of Bitcoin ETFs and into XRP, Solana, and Ethereum ETFs, this could be the exact moment when altcoins finally decouple from Bitcoin. Imagine that. I want to share something powerful with you from John Squire, Bitwise CEO Hunter Horsley, at Ripple Swell. Remember when he said this? And now they actually have an ETF live.
Everyone should be unbelievably excited. You know, after XRPL and XRP are over 13 years old, the crypto space is maybe 15 years old. It's all happening now. This space for the first time is going mainstream in 2025. Part of going mainstream means that there are people coming on board, incredible institutions here at Swell who are building services, integrating, but they're mainstream by definition because they're doing other things also. And that means for them, a month is super fast, a quarter is fast. And so I think in the crypto space, the timeframes that people are familiar with are just getting pushed out. And there's a little bit of relearning how to interpret the news flow as a byproduct. But I will unequivocally say we've been around for 7, 8 years now. I have never seen it feel as inevitable as it does right now in this year that crypto is arriving to update the financial system and will be a mainstream asset class.
Yeah.
Steve.
He's literally telling us that a completely new financial system is coming. And remember, Bitwise now has that ETF live. You knew they were going to launch one eventually. But he also mentioned something crucial. It seems like things are getting pushed out timeline-wise. And you know what that tells me? We were always early to crypto. We beat the institutions here, and now the institutions are finally starting to flood into this space. You were incredibly lucky to get into XRP when you did. And that's exactly why I keep telling people, you need to get in now before the real price appreciation happens. Because once this institutional money starts flowing, it's not going to slow down. We're talking about month-over-month institutional inflows that are going to be absolutely massive. That's the same reason I don't see these huge price swings that everyone's predicting for XRP in early 2026. Everyone seems to expect the cycle top to hit in early 2026. But I think the institutional money is going to create a completely different dynamic than we've ever seen before. The bottom line? We're standing at the beginning of something absolutely historic. The traditional financial system is being completely transformed, and XRP is positioned to be right at the center of it all. So, what do you think? Are you ready for what's coming? Let me know in the comments below. I love hearing your thoughts and predictions. And if this analysis helped you understand what's happening in the XRP market, smash that like button and make sure you're subscribed with notifications on. You don't want to miss any of these crucial updates as we navigate this incredible period in crypto history. You know what? I need to be completely honest with you here. I actually said this myself in previous videos because it looked like that was exactly what was going to happen. But this market has been absolutely unpredictable in ways I never imagined. I genuinely never thought XRP was going to drop back below $3, let alone fall below $2. And honestly, nobody saw this crash coming. In my opinion, this crash was completely coordinated on Bitcoin, and I think there's something much bigger happening behind the scenes while everyone's distracted by the price action. But here's where things get absolutely incredible. Today was truly a historic moment for XRP. Bitwise officially announced their ETF, and they're actually praising XRP. Let me share exactly what Matt Hogan and Hunter Horsley had to say after their spot ETF went live. They're calling it a historic moment, and here's why. Matt Hogan said, XRP is a really compelling asset for a number of reasons. It's been operating successfully for a very long time at an extremely low cost, handles high trading volumes, and has a really strong and vibrant community of supporters. In the new cryptocurrency regulatory regime, XRP is on equal footing with other digital assets. Now, the market will have the opportunity to see what XRP is truly capable of. I was honestly surprised by that statement, because Matt Hogan has always been one of those Bitcoin-only guys. Hunter Horsley added, with today's launch of the Bitwise XRP ETF and its selection of XRP, we are excited to help investors invest in an asset that has the potential to fundamentally change how money moves around the world. And that is exactly what's happening right now. While we're all focused on the day-to-day price movements of XRP, there's a completely new financial system being built and connected in the background. And guess what? XRP is going to be at the absolute core of that system, moving money around the world on a daily basis. Here's something fascinating. Bitwise seeded their XRP ETF this morning with 1,119,660 XRP, valued at $2.277 million. But here's the key point. Everything from today forward will be new acquisitions. I wanted to show you this because it proves they already had that XRP stockpile ready to go. But now they're going to continue buying more XRP as the daily inflows keep happening. And as we watch all this available XRP disappear from the market, the price has absolutely no choice but to appreciate dramatically. This next part comes from Stephen McClurg, and I honestly wish everyone in the crypto community talked like this. He says, huge congratulations to our friends at Bitwise on their XRP ETF today. We are showing Wall Street that you don't have to be BlackRock to launch the top 5 ETFs of 2025. We are rooting for you to get this one in the top 5 too, as long as you don't knock us out first. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Do you see what he's doing here? He's congratulating the competition, because when everybody succeeds in this space, we all win. It's not about this company versus that company, or this cryptocurrency versus that cryptocurrency. It's about this entire revolutionary space succeeding together. Unfortunately, the Bitcoin maximalists still haven't gotten that memo. The momentum is absolutely unstoppable now. The SEC has approved 2-1 shares Form 8A, clearing the way for the 2-1 shares spot XRP ETF to list on the CBOE BZX exchange. This one looks like it's going live sometime next week, right alongside the Franklin Templeton ETF. So we're looking at ETF after ETF launching from here on out. And all of them are going to have incredible inflows because we know the demand is absolutely massive. They would never have filed for these ETFs in the first place if the institutional demand wasn't already there. And finally, people are talking about this again. Here's how high the price of XRP needs to be to actually flip Bitcoin in market cap. Right now, we're looking at about $30.48 for XRP to flip Bitcoin's market cap. But here's the thing. This number fluctuates with Bitcoin's price as well, so it's a moving target. Let me tell you what I think is going to happen. And this might sound crazy, but hear me out. I believe that with the massive ETF inflows, we're about to see if we experience true scarcity in XRP supply, we are definitely flipping Bitcoin. Ethereum? That's practically a given at this point. We're going to be the number 2 cryptocurrency very soon. Once the real breakout begins, I think XRP easily flips Ethereum first. But here's where it gets really exciting. I think there's a very, very good chance we also flip Bitcoin's entire market cap during this run. And once that happens, game over. That changes absolutely everything. Think about it. The mainstream media will have no choice but to talk about XRP. In the crypto space, we will literally never hear FUD about XRP ever again. The Bitcoin maximalists, they'll either completely disappear from this space, or they'll start making up wild excuses like it was some kind of glitch that happened. But mark my words, they will never, ever FUD XRP again. And I genuinely anticipate this happening during this cycle. Like I mentioned earlier in this video, I just don't see how XRP crashes the way so many people are predicting. I keep hearing people call for these massive 80% to 90% crashes. But seriously, how does that even happen? If we have consistent inflows coming into these ETFs, and XRP is disappearing from exchanges everywhere, we're literally going into scarcity mode. How do we get these major pullbacks when there's no supply left to sell? I'm just not seeing it mathematically. Then you couple all of this with the Clarity Act that's coming. We don't even know what kind of incredible value that's going to unlock. And remember, ISO 20022 goes live tomorrow. Think about that for a second. We're going to have a crystal clear view of what's going to happen with ISO 20022 compliance. But when you combine that with regulatory clarity and these massive ETF inflows, all of a sudden you have the perfect storm for XRP to definitely flip Bitcoin during this run. But like I always tell you, until it actually happens, stay patient and stay positive. We're in this together, and we're going to get rich together. With that said, I'm going to wrap up this video. I want to thank each and every one of you for watching. I genuinely appreciate all of you being part of this incredible journey. If this analysis got you excited about what's coming for XRP, make sure you smash that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of these crucial updates. I'll see you in the next one. Have an amazing night, and remember, we're making history together. Keep holding strong, XRP Army.